What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm going to be talking about the Tac Knives Goliath. Now, this is an automatic out the side knife, as you guys can see, made by Tac Knives. And this is a knife that is very, very surprising to me because I bought this knife for $35. So I am not going to be doing my typical full review on the Goliath, just because if you guys have caught some of my full reviews of like OTFs, automatics, and fixed blades, I don't go through and do the typical step-by-step, materials, action, ergos, carry, acoustics, aesthetics, all those things, just because I don't really, I mainly review, folding knives. So whenever I get, which this is a folding knife, but I think I've explained this to you guys before, I just don't feel as comfortable, and it just doesn't really, stuff like these don't fit the criteria for my full reviews as much as, a typical folding knife does. So I just like to come on here and, chat for a little bit. It's a little bit quicker of a video for, which is, I love to do, and I'm sure you guys love to watch. So yeah, I'm just gonna, like I said, chat about the Goliath here for a few minutes. And yeah, $35 for this thing. And this is, I think, it's currently sold out. I am going to leave the link to Tac Knives down below if you guys are interested in checking out, anything else they have going on. But this was a kind of an impulse buy. I was not, I had seen Tac Knives post on their Instagram before, maybe like one time about maybe a little bit of a teaser for this knife. And then one random day I saw that they dropped these, as blemished knives, and they were going for half off. So they typically go for $70, which I still think is a great deal for a knife like this. But the blemished versions were going for $34.95. So $35, you could either get the stonewash version, which I have, or you could get a blacked out version. And I jumped on it. I was like, $35, like something like that is just too easy to not pass up. So I jumped on it, and I've had this in for a little bit. It's the only automatic knife I have in my collection. You guys know I typically, don't collect too many OTFs and automatics just because I like the fidgetability of a, locking folding knife better. But for $35, I could not pass this up. And I'm pretty pleased with my purchase. There is one small thing that I am a little bit wary of, but I have come to kind of work my way around that, which we'll touch on in a minute. But yeah, like I said, I will leave a link down below to Tac Knives. They are the producer of the Benji. If you guys caught my video on the Benji probably a couple weeks ago at this point, the little micro size OTF, I really, really enjoyed that. The build quality was there. And yeah, as far as these being blemished, I can't pick up on why this would be a blemished model specifically. I mean, it's aluminum. You guys can see it has some really nice patching. So here we have obviously the actuator button. You have a safety switch. You have this really nice patch of milled kind of hatch aluminum. You have a filler plate for a loop over style deep carry clip. I really like that they added that. I feel like that's a nice touch on an automatic. You get a Tac Knives clip over here, and you get even more of that really nice aluminum. Then on the blade, you get a 14C 28N stone-washed Wharncliffe with a fuller. Very, very cool, kind of, tactile-looking blade. You get a choil up top here, jimping the whole way along. Really comfortable ergonomics. And I just, for the life of me, cannot pick up where this was blemished. And they even said, I mean, there's a snail trail right there, if you guys can pick up on it. I don't believe I made that, so that might have been a reason why. I know they got half of their batch in, even says on the website here, it says, I know this is a new launch, but it turned out the factory did not do a good job on the anodizing. Not even half the knives. Almost all the knives have slight paint blemishes. This is really disappointing, but if you can overlook the blemishes, it is a really, really awesome knife. And they give some, examples. There's might be some anodizing issues on the button or, on the corners here. But honestly, I feel like I got a pretty good overall, clean model. The only thing I can really find is that snail trail right there. If the light will pick up on it, right? Come on. There we go, right there. But yeah, for $35, just a fantastic deal. I feel like with OTFs, or sorry, out the side autos, you really don't see that too often these days. But some quick specs: you have a blade length coming in at 3 inches exactly. You have a handle length or a closed length of 4.5 inches, which gives it an overall length from tip to butt of 7.5. Of course, you get 14C 28N there on the blade. The blade thickness is 3 millimeters, excuse me. So it's, I'd say a medium blade stock thickness, but it comes down to a decently thin edge. Not going to be like the super sliciest blade, but it'll work just as much for what I need it for: opening packages, letters, things like that, cardboard cutting down. And it comes in weighing 3.7 ounces, which, the aluminum is not milled, but aluminum is a very, very lightweight material to begin with. So overall, this is a pretty nice, small, slim package. Now, the one thing that I said I had an issue with that I had found out is the button. So I have found out that if you push and hold the button, and it doesn't do it every single time, but if you push and hold it too long, the knife, you guys can see there, it'll bounce, and it won't lock up like there. It didn't lock up fully. You guys can see the button's still depressed. So what I have found is you have to push it and almost pull your finger away from it, automatically, or you kind of push on the edge and don't put your whole finger weight on there. I've also found doing it this way makes it hit hard too, but you guys can see it doesn't lock the whole way. So I don't know if that's just my knife. I've never really noticed that on an automatic knife before, so I don't know if the spring is maybe not strong enough, but if I hold it in, you guys can see I'm able to do this with it. But again, for 35 bucks, I'm willing to look past that as long as I know about it and as long as I am, utilizing it. But I just push it down, flies out. The spring's relatively strong. It's a pretty snappy thwack. I just have to make sure again to push and pull right off of it. Push, pull right off. Push, pull right off. And then I have no issues whatsoever. That's just something that I, wanted to point out to you guys. I don't know if anyone else that has gotten the Goliath in has had that issue, but, and again, I am more versed in it now, so I know what to do. But for the longest time, I was like, man, I feel like I got a faulty knife. But again, crisp, clean, and pretty reliable. Again, $35. I know you're getting 14C, which is a budget steel, but again, automatic knives I feel like go for, much more than that. So I have no complaints in the slightest. Fires out very well. So I'm pretty pleased with my purchase. This will be just a knife that I, can use and I can abuse, and I it's a knife that I'm not going to feel bad about putting through its paces. But in the same vein, I feel like it can hold up to it. Everything I have from, this is the first knife I've gotten from Tac Knives, but I've reviewed obviously the Benji. I've reviewed a few of their OTS before, so everything I've handled from them has been, nice and well built. So I have no complaints. I feel like it was a good purchase, and obviously you have the safety here, which I typically keep it on. Just for peace of mind, I guess. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I just typically have it on there just for a good reason. But I'll show you guys a quick size comparison here. So we got the Spyderco Para 3, and then we have the TRM Neutron 2. Very similar to both of these knives, so I'd say right in the medium size knife range. And then I'll show you guys real quick how the knife carries with the loop over style deep carry clip. A little bit tight, but pretty deep in the pocket, so no issues with that in the slightest. I would have liked to maybe get a little bit of a landing area underneath the clip rather than the milled aluminum the whole way through, but again, small complaint. So yeah, but leave a comment down below. Did any of you guys, were you able to snag a Goliath at discounted prices? If you do, do you really like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, day, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.